beautiful beaders, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com and welcome to the Rose Montee Marquee Bracelet tutorial. Aren't these sparkly and fun? And these aren't that hard to make. We will be using 2 needles today to complete this project because it makes it a little bit more efficient. So if you're newer, don't be intimidated by that, but maybe watch the video first just to see how this is done and then give it a try and don't be afraid to make mistakes. As you can see, I have completed this bracelet in a couple different ways. You can either use some 3x4mm rondelles, or you can use 3mm fire polish beads to complete the base of this bracelet. You can find the materials that you need to make this bracelet in a huge variety of different colors at eurekacrystalbeads.com, and I will leave the links to everything that I'm using today down below, as well as the specific quantities that you'll need. As you can see here, I do have my 3mm fire polish, some 15-0 seed beads, some SS20 Rose Montees, and some 11-0 seed beads. I also have 2 wire guards, 2 jump rings, and a toggle clasp I'll be using, as well as my 2 beading needles and approximately 10 feet of beading thread, and of course some scissors and some jewelry pliers. So to get started, you'll want to add a needle on both ends of approximately 10 feet of beading thread, and we're going to start out with our wire guards, our 3mm, and our Montees. All right, so I have a needle in my left hand and a needle in my right hand, and I have my wire guard right in front of me, and I highly recommend using these if you're able to, in order to strengthen the ends of your pieces. We're gonna put a needle through each end of our wire guard, and then we're just going to pull this down to approximately the center point of our thread, and we're gonna be working on both sides of this bracelet pretty much simultaneously. Let's get our threads situated again so we have left on the left side and right on the right side. Just like so. And the first thing we want to do is pick up one of our Montees, and we're going to go through one of those sections. You can see that these sew-on crystals have a spot for you to cross through the bottom of the setting right underneath the crystal, which makes these great for embroidery and sewing to fabric, but also an option for bead weaving. So we're going to take our right needle and pass through one of those sections, and you can pull this down. And then we want to take our left needle and we want to go through the other hole. So we'll be crossing through that. So that's the open hole, and I'm going to pull the thread. And our threads have switched sides. Now you can see that we have both of them crossing through that first crystal. Once again, take a second to get your thread situated. Have what is now your left needle on the left and your right needle on the right. And with both needles, you're going to be picking up 3 of your 3mm fire polish, or if you're using the little rondelles. And depending on how ambidextrous you are, you can do these at the same time using both hands, or put one needle down and then complete the other one. So pull these down, the 3 beads on each side. And now we are ready to add another one of our Montees. So with my right needle, I'm just gonna pass under that crystal through whichever hole I get to first and pull that down. And then with my left needle, I'm going to go through the other hole. So I'm just gonna cross right through underneath that crystal, and these threads are gonna swap places again. And when we pull our thread, you can see this is what we have. And we're just gonna be repeating this all the way down. So I'm gonna be making a bracelet that's going to end up being approximately 7 inches. That's with the jump rings and the clasp. If you'd like to make yours longer, you'll just add extra sections to your bracelet to start out with, and then continue on with the steps. So I found for me, having about 11 of these is sufficient for the size bracelet that I want to create. And that's what we're gonna keep doing. So let's do one more together before I send you on your way. So just like we did before, let's pick up 3 of our fire polish per needle. Just like that, and pull these down. And now cross through another Montee. And with my left hand needle, I'm going to cross through the other side. And as I pull that, I want to make sure my thread is still situated right in the groove of the wire guard. And now we have 2 sections complete. So I'm going to continue on until I have 11 of these sections, and you can continue on to your desired bracelet length, and then we will meet back to proceed with the next steps. All right guys, welcome back. So we are at this end of our bracelet now and ready to put on our other wire guard. So we've ended on this Montee, and we can get ourselves situated once again, having my left hand needle on my left and my right on my right. And we're gonna go straight through this other wire guard. You can have one needle going through each side, and you can do that one at a time or both of them together, and then pull that down to your work. And then once again, separating the thread, we're ready to loop around that wire guard. So first I'm gonna take the right hand needle, I'm gonna loop around, swinging that needle through the left hand side of the wire guard. That's going to keep it in place and also get us ready for the next step. And I'm also going to head down the hole of the Montee that corresponds to, that is right underneath the wire guard. And that's going to place my thread over here, ready to move down toward the other end of our bracelet. We're gonna do the same thing with the left hand needle. So swing it around the wire guard, go down through the hole on the right of the wire guard, pulling that and making sure the thread stays in place in that little groove, and then go through the hole of the rose Montee that's right there on that side below the wire guard and pull. So your thread's just crisscrossing through the bottom of that crystal. And now you can see we are ready to head in our other direction. All right, so once we've crossed through that Montee, we want to then proceed through just the first 3 millimeter on each side. So I'm going through the one on the right-hand side first, and then I'm picking up my left-hand needle, and once again, I'm just gonna go through the first 3 millimeter I get to on the left-hand side. All right, now we're ready to tack down one of these Montees in the center of each one of these sections of 3 millimeters. So to do that, we want to pick up first 2 of our 15 O's, and I'm just gonna do that first with the right-hand needle, still working back towards me at this point. And then I'm gonna go through one of the holes underneath the next crystal and pull that down to my work. And it's gonna be sitting right there in the middle. And now with the left-hand needle, picking up 2 more of the 15 O's, and then going through that Montee again, but through the other hole, and crossing through the other side. So our threads are actually going to be now switching places. And this is what we have just added, and we're ready to tack down the other side. So with the needle that's now on my right, I'm going to pick up 2 more 15 O's, and I'm going to proceed through the third 3 millimeter fire polish in that little cluster of 3. Plus, I'm going to go through the Montee, which is gonna crisscross us over to the other side. And I wanna go through the first 3 millimeter on that side as well. So you're going through 3 things there, pulling those 15 O seed beads into place. Once again, our thread is crisscrossing. That one's going to become our left-hand thread. Now with what was the left-hand thread coming out of the left-hand side of the crystal, I'm picking up 2 15 O's. And just like we did on the other side, I'm gonna go through the third 3 millimeter in the group of 3, plus heading underneath that next crystal Montee, and then through the first 3 millimeter bead in the next cluster of 3 on the other side. And we pull that, and you can see that we have tacked down that crystal right in the center of that section and just created a little X shape with the 15 O's. And we're gonna repeat this all the way down the bracelet. So let's do one more together, picking up 2 15 O's on the right hand needle, and also picking up a Montee and pulling those down. And then with my left hand needle, I'm gonna pick up 2 15 O's, and then pull those down a little bit and cross through that Montee on that side. And our needles are going to switch places and pull that into place. And then I'm going to pick up 2 more 15 O's on my, what is now my right hand needle. And I'm going to go through the third 3mm fire polish, the Montee, and the first 3mm fire polish on the other side. So that thread's gonna swap places. And we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm picking up two 15-0s, and I wanna go through the third 3mm, the Montee, and the first 3mm on the other side. And pull. So now we have two of our crystals in place in the center of these first two sections, and both of the threads are coming out of the first 3mm fire polish in the next section and ready to repeat. So repeat that same step all the way down the bracelet, and then we will meet back and I will let you know what's next. All right, welcome back again. So we have completed that step of the bracelet and have made it to the other side. So I have, once again, left needle, right needle, and we need to swing around our wire guard again. So with the right hand needle, I'm gonna swing it over to the left hand side just to go through the wire guard. And if you can, all at once, go through the Montee as well as the 3mm, just the first one that you get to on the other side. And hold that with your thumb and your forefinger while you pull. And so you can see with my right hand needle, that thread is coming out of the first 3mm, and we're ready to repeat that with our left hand side. So I'm taking the left hand needle, swinging it around the wire guard, going through the Montee and the first 3mm on the other side, holding that and then pulling. And now we're ready for the next step, which is to make our little 11-0 points on each of these loops to give it more of that marquee or diamond shape. So with my right hand needle, I'm going to pick up 4 11-0s, and I'm going to proceed through the third 3mm as well as the next Montee, which you can see is going to cross us over to the other side, and through the first of the 3mm on the other side. So going back through those 3 items, and when we pull, you can see it pops 4 of those 11-0s right into place on this side. And we're going to repeat this all the way down. You can continue on with one needle or do both needles at the same time. I'll just continue on with the same needle. So once again, picking up 4 11-0s, and I'm going to go down through the third 3mm, through the Montee, and through the first 3mm bead on the other side. That's going to put 4 11-0s on this side. So I'm going to set that needle down, and you can see what happens when we do it on the other side. Picking up 4 11-0s, and I'm going to go through the third 3mm, the Montee, and the first of the 3mm on the other side. And now we have our little matching cluster of 4 11-0s on that side, and we'll do it again. So 4 11-0s, and through the third 3mm, the Montee, and that next 3mm, and pull. So repeat that step all the way down, popping in your 4 11-0s on either side of these sections. And then once we do that, we'll be swinging around and completing one more beading step before we finish up. All right, guys, we are almost done. So I have already swung this needle around and have it in position where we want it, but I need to do the same thing with my right hand needle. Once you get to the wire guard, swing your needles around again, go through the wire guard, the Montee, as well as the first 3mm fire polish in the next group, and go through the first 2 of those 11-0s that you put on in that section. And now we're just going to be putting one more 11-0 right in the center of those clusters of 4. So I have one on my needle, and I'm going to go down through the next 2 11-0s, then through the next Montee, through the next 3mm, and the next 2 11-0s on the other side. When we pull this, it brings this shape on the side to a point, and then we're ready to put an 11-0 right in there in between those two 11-0 seed beads. So I'm going to pick another one up and then head down through the next two 11-0s, the 3mm, the Montee, the 3mm, and the next two 11-0s, and pop our next one into place. So again, you can do that all the way down with one needle at a time if you'd like to, or you can switch off. I will pick up my left-hand needle and do a couple with you on this side so you can see how it starts to look. And again, I'm already coming out of those first two 11-0s, so I'm ready to go. Picking up one 11-0, going through the next two, through the 3mm, the Montee, and then the 3mm on this side, as well as the first two 11-0s. And there's that section complete. And we'll pick up another 11-0 and go through the two 11-0s. 3mm, Montee, 3mm, and two 11-0s, and pop one on that side. Now just continue on with that step and we will meet back on this side to tie and knot off our thread and admire our work. All right, so our beading is done, and once again, I'll just be swinging around through the wire guard to go back and tie some half-hitch knots. I'll probably do about 3 on each side, making a little knot, and then hiding it by going through some beads. And you don't have to watch me do that because I'm sure you already know how to do that at this point if you've made it this far. And once your threads have been knotted and tied off, you are ready to attach your findings. So let me wrap up this process. But as you can see, things are looking good, and you're welcome to go through these beads again as much as you like, following your thread path to reinforce the bracelet further. That's totally up to you. So I'm gonna clip off this side, finish up this one, I'll be right back. All right, so let's attach our jump rings and our clasp. Here's one side on. Got this toggle clasp from Eureka Crystal Beads as well as everything else from there, so don't forget to check out the links below the video for all the materials and have fun checking out their site. They have so many different colors of the rose Montees and the fire polish, the seed beads, everything. So you are sure to come up with some beautiful color combinations based on all the things you can find there. So that is the Rose Montee Marquis bracelet done in the beautiful purple combination. Here's a close-up look at the back, the side, the top, and here is a look at the bracelet on my wrist. So sparkly and fun to use something different like those sew-on crystals. Once again, here are the other color combinations that I played around with just to give you some ideas of some other options. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me for another tutorial. I hope it was easy and fun for you to follow. Feel free to leave me a comment down below the video. Let me know if you gave this a try, what color combination you used, or anything else you'd like to say. I hope you'll stick around for much more to come, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and as always, happy beading. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. For more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can check out the information section below this video for links to all my social media handles, recommended products, and my shop and blog at orchidandopal.com. Thanks for watching.